All right, let's dive into the OWASP Threat Modeling Cheat Sheet. This resource is designed to offer a concise and actionable reference for understanding threat modeling. The cheat sheet provides a structured approach that guides you through identifying, assessing, and mitigating potential threats to your system. This introduction to threat modeling comes from SecureTech In, aiming to equip you with the fundamental knowledge needed to incorporate threat modeling into your security practices effectively. For more in-depth information, you can visit the official project page at OWASP's website. Threat modeling is critical because it helps you systematically identify potential security issues early in the development process. This proactive approach not only improves security awareness among participants, but also increases the overall visibility of the system being evaluated. We'll be covering essential questions such as, what are we working on? What can go wrong? What are we going to do about it? And finally, did we do a good enough job? These questions form the foundation of the threat modeling process and ensure a comprehensive evaluation of security risks.
In this slide, we focus on the importance of threat modeling. Understanding its significance is vital for identifying potential security issues early, which helps in mitigating risks before they become critical problems. Another crucial aspect is that threat modeling improves security awareness among all participants involved in the project. It ensures that everyone has a clear understanding of the system and its vulnerabilities. Additionally, threat modeling increases the visibility of the system being evaluated, allowing for a comprehensive understanding of all its components and potential exposure points. To guide the process, we ask foundational questions. What are we working on? What can go wrong? What are we going to do about it? And did we do a good enough job? These questions help in systematically analyzing and addressing potential threats, ensuring thorough evaluation and mitigation strategies. On this slide, we are going to dive into the overview of the threat modeling process. Our journey begins with system modeling, where we aim to thoroughly understand what we're building. We can employ tools like data flow diagrams or DFDs to visually map out the system's components and interactions. Next, we move on to threat identification. Here, the goal is to determine which threats are applicable to the system. For instance, using the STRIDE methodology can help in categorizing and identifying different types of security threats. Once threats are identified, we proceed to response and mitigations. This phase involves deciding on specific actions to either prevent or lessen the potential impact of these threats. Finally, the review and validation step ensures that our threat model is both accurate and actionable. This involves iterative checks to confirm that we have comprehensively addressed the identified threats and that our mitigations are effective. Understanding these steps from modeling to mitigation and validation lays a solid groundwork for robust threat modeling practices.
Threat modeling offers several significant benefits, which we'll discuss on this slide. Firstly, one of the primary benefits is risk identification. By engaging in threat modeling, you can detect potential security risks early in the development process. This allows for proactive measures rather than reactive fixes after vulnerabilities have been exploited. Secondly, threat modeling fosters security awareness within your team. It encourages adopting a think like an attacker mindset. This perspective helps teams anticipate and mitigate potential threats effectively because they can better understand the strategies an attacker might use. Another essential benefit is better system understanding. Threat modeling provides an improved knowledge of data flows and trust boundaries within your system. By clearly mapping out how data moves through your application and where it interacts with different system components, teams can identify potential weak points and areas that require additional security measures. These benefits collectively contribute to a more robust security posture for any system.
In this slide, we're focusing on system modeling with data flow diagrams, DFDs. The primary purpose of DFDs is to provide a visual representation of the system and its data flows, which can significantly aid in understanding how information moves within an architecture and where potential security concerns might arise. To create these diagrams, we can use several tools such as OWASP's Threat Dragon, Microsoft's Threat Modeling Tool, and draw.io. All of these tools are designed to help streamline the process of creating clear and effective DFDs. When constructing a DFD, it's essential to include key components such as trust boundaries, data stores, processes, and external entities. Trust boundaries help identify areas where data transitions between different levels of trust. Data stores represent where information is held, while processes depict the activities or functions taking place within the system. External entities show the interactions between the system and outside actors or systems. By understanding and accurately mapping out these components, you can create a comprehensive model that highlights potential vulnerabilities and strengthens your overall security posture.
In this example of a data flow diagram DFD, we use specific symbols to represent different components within a system. For instance, an external entity is depicted as a square, a data store as parallel lines, a process as a circle, and data flow as an arrow. Let's consider a scenario where we are modeling a user login system. In this case, an external user, represented by a square, interacts with the login process, symbolized by a circle. This login process then interacts with the user database, which is shown as parallel lines. This visual method of representation allows us to clearly understand how data moves within the system, who interacts with the data, and where the data is stored. By mapping out these interactions and data flows, we can more effectively analyze and improve the system's design and security. In this slide, we discuss the advantages of brainstorming for system modeling. When the team engages in brainstorming, numerous benefits come to light. Firstly, there is increased team engagement, as collaborating to develop initial ideas ensures that everyone is actively contributing. This process also leads to a unified understanding of the domain, since team members align their perspectives and grasp the system's objectives together. Additionally, brainstorming helps in the quick identification of key processes, making it easier to pinpoint the essential elements that need attention. Enhanced communication among team members is another significant advantage, as the flow of ideas and discussions promotes clarity and shared goals. A common technique to facilitate this brainstorming effectively is whiteboarding with the team, which allows for visual representation and easy alterations of initial concepts. In this slide, we are focusing on the STRIDE model for identifying threats. STRIDE stands for spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure, denial of service, and elevation of privileges. Each category represents a different type of security threat. Spoofing involves authenticity violations, where an attacker masquerades as another user. Tampering refers to integrity violations, where data is maliciously altered. Repudiation covers non-repudiability violations, which involve actions lacking proof of origin, like denying performed actions. Information disclosure pertains to confidentiality violations, involving unauthorized access to sensitive data. Denial of service targets availability, making services unavailable to legitimate users. Elevation of privileges represents authorization violations, where an attacker gains unauthorized access or privileges within the system. To contextualize this, consider analyzing a web application. By assessing each STRIDE category, you can identify potential threats and take steps to mitigate them effectively. This model helps in systematically approaching threat identification, ensuring comprehensive security coverage.
In this slide, we delve into applying the STRIDE threat modeling framework through concrete examples of potential threats for each category. For spoofing, an example threat is the stealing of user authentication tokens. This involves unauthorized individuals impersonating legitimate users by capturing their authentication credentials, allowing them to access the application fraudulently. Tampering involves unauthorized database updates. Attackers can exploit vulnerabilities to alter data, compromising the integrity of the system's information. Repudiation threats can be exemplified by log manipulation. Attackers could alter or delete logs, making it difficult to trace their malicious activities or prove their actions within the system. Information disclosure threats include extracting sensitive data. Unauthorized access can lead to confidential information being exposed, violating data privacy and compliance requirements. A practical example of a denial of service attack is causing account lockout through repeated failed login attempts. This can render user accounts inaccessible, affecting the availability of services. Lastly, elevation of privileges can involve modifying JWT roles. Attackers with lower-level access can escalate permissions, gaining unauthorized capabilities within the application. By identifying these types of threats within the STRIDE framework, we can better understand potential vulnerabilities and take steps to address them effectively. Now let's discuss the various threat responses and mitigations you can employ to safeguard your systems. We'll focus on 4 primary mitigation types: mitigate, eliminate, transfer, and accept. 1. Mitigate. This approach aims to reduce the likelihood or impact of a threat. For example, adding multi-factor authentication to user accounts helps mitigate the risk of spoofing. 2. Eliminate. In this scenario, you remove the problematic component entirely. A practical instance of this would be removing unused endpoints to eliminate potential attack vectors. Or 3. Transfer. This involves shifting the responsibility to another party, such as outsourcing certain functions to a specialized third-party provider. 4. Accept. Sometimes you might decide that the risk is acceptable given the context, and you choose not to take any additional action. Understanding these responses helps you choose the best strategy for managing various threats effectively. Let's move on to more detailed examples of these mitigation strategies. In this slide, we're focusing on practical examples of mitigation responses. The first example is implementing multi-factor authentication, MFA. To do this, you would use a command like enable MFA equal mywebapp-method OTP. This activation enhances security by requiring additional verification steps, thus mitigating the threat of spoofing. The second example is removing unused endpoints. You can achieve this by running an analysis and command to remove those endpoints. API audit, that equals mywebapp, remove unused. This action helps eliminate potential attack vectors by removing components that are no longer needed. These examples illustrate how to apply specific commands to mitigate and eliminate security threats in a web application. In this slide, we're focusing on the critical activity of review and validation in threat modeling. There are several key questions to address during this phase. 1. Does the DFD accurately reflect the system? It's essential to verify that the data flow diagram captures all necessary aspects of your system accurately. 2. Have all threats been identified? Ensure that every potential threat has been properly listed and analyzed. 3. Are responses and mitigation strategies agreed upon? Consensus among all stakeholders on the effectiveness and implementation of these strategies is crucial for a unified security posture. 4. Are mitigation strategies actionable and testable? It's important to ascertain that each proposed mitigation can be practically implemented and tested to validate its efficacy. Additionally, proper documentation is a vital step. Make sure your threat model is formally documented and securely stored for future reference. This ensures continuity and accountability in your security practices. In this section, we'd be discussing some critical challenges that development teams often face while integrating security practices into their workflow. Firstly, a significant roadblock is the lack of security knowledge. Many developers might not have extensive experience in security, which can result in oversights and vulnerabilities. This gap in expertise limits their ability to identify potential threats and understand the necessary mitigation strategies. Secondly, time constraints pose a considerable issue. Development teams often work under tight schedules and deadlines. These pressures can make it difficult to allocate sufficient time for thorough security analysis and threat modeling, leading to a rushed and possibly incomplete security review. Lastly, collaboration issues can arise due to communication barriers between different teams, such as development, security, and operations. Effective threat modeling requires collaboration and clear communication, but misalignment and lack of effective dialogue can impede this process. Addressing these challenges is crucial for the development of secure and robust software systems, setting the stage for discussing potential solutions and strategies to overcome these obstacles. To overcome the challenges that development teams face, it's essential to adopt a multifaceted strategy. First, consider inviting security specialists to your development sessions. Their expertise can provide invaluable insights that developers may lack, effectively bridging any knowledge gaps. Next, regular training sessions on IT security for the development team should be a priority. Investing in continuous education will keep the team current on best practices and emerging threats. A cultural shift is also necessary. Integrate threat modeling into the software development lifecycle, SDLC, to bake security into your development process right from the start. Additionally, leverage tools and automation to simplify and streamline the threat modeling process. Automating certain aspects can reduce the time required and improve efficiency, helping the team to remain agile while maintaining a strong security posture. These strategies collectively contribute to a more secure and efficient development environment, addressing the challenges previously identified.
Effective collaboration and continuous improvement are crucial components of a robust threat modeling strategy. To foster these elements, it is important to promote open communication through regular review sessions and cross-team workshops. These interactions help ensure that everyone remains on the same page and can contribute their unique perspectives. In addition, leveraging tools that support and simplify the threat modeling process is essential. By utilizing the right tools, teams can more efficiently manage and address potential threats. Finally, remember that threat modeling should be an iterative process. Continuously updating and refining the threat model ensures that it evolves alongside the project, maintaining its relevance and effectiveness over time. On this slide, we're focusing on the practical tools you can use to effectively carry out threat modeling. Utilizing specialized software can significantly enhance your ability to identify and mitigate security risks. First, let's look at some of the top software tools available. 1. OWASP's Threat Dragon. This is a free and open source tool specifically designed for threat modeling. It provides an easy-to-use interface and supports various types of diagramming. 2. Microsoft's Threat Modeling Tool. This robust platform helps you create data flow diagrams, DFDs, and provides automated threat generation based on your diagrams. 3. Draw.io. While not exclusively for threat modeling, Draw.io is a versatile diagramming tool that supports various use cases, including threat modeling. To illustrate practical use, here are a couple of command examples. For OWASP's Threat Dragon, you can start a new project using the following command: threat dragon cli, new project, my project. This command initializes a new project named my project in Threat Dragon. To generate a data flow diagram DFD using Microsoft's threat modeling tool, you would use mstool generate project my project type DFD. This command generates a DFD for the specified project my project. Utilizing these tools can streamline your threat modeling process, making it more efficient and comprehensive. In this slide, we will conclude our discussion on threat modeling by summarizing the key points and discussing next steps. We've emphasized the importance of understanding the system being modeled to accurately identify potential threats. Using structured techniques like STRIDE helps in systematically identifying these threats. It's critical to formulate actionable mitigation strategies and to regularly review and validate the threat models to ensure they remain relevant over time. For those looking to deepen their knowledge, I recommend further reading materials such as the OWASP Application Security Verification Standard, ASVS, and MITRE's Common Weakness Enumeration, CWE list. Additionally, the Threat Modeling Handbook provides comprehensive guidance on various techniques and best practices. By following these steps and leveraging these resources, you can build robust threat models that help mitigate risks effectively. Awesome threat modeling requires understanding and applying various methods and techniques to ensure comprehensive security. Tactical threat modeling focuses on actionable insights to mitigate threats effectively. The Threat Modeling Handbook and the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Threat Modeling are excellent starting points for deep diving into the subject. To systematically identify threats, you can utilize methodologies such as Lindun, PASTA, STRIDE, Octave, and VAST. Each method has a unique approach and can be chosen based on the specific requirements of the system being modeled. For practical implementation, several tools can aid in the threat modeling process, including Keris, Draw.io, Irius Risk, and the Microsoft Threat Modeling Tool. These tools offer functionalities that streamline the creation, visualization, and analysis of threat models, making the process more efficient and effective. By leveraging these methods and tools, you can create robust threat models that help secure your systems against potential vulnerabilities.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through our threat modeling course. We hope you found the content valuable and insightful. If you enjoyed what you've learned, please leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated on our latest courses and videos. Also, feel free to share this course with your friends and colleagues who might benefit from it.